beauties, so today I actually have a treat for you guys. We are going to be analyzing and depicting this awesome palette that I have found on the Zoeva website. For those of you who don't know, Zoeva has a lot of amazing and pretty affordable like eyeshadow palettes, and they have smaller ones, they have bigger ones, and their quality of the shadows is just absolutely amazing. I really do enjoy them. One of my favorite palettes is the Zoeva Cocoa Blend that looks like this. It kind of reminds me of the Queen of Hearts palette by Color Rain, the limited edition one that was released a few months ago, and it's just beautiful. It has more of like deeper shades, it has a lot of like neutrals, it has very beautiful shimmers, and this is actually one of my favorite palettes from Zoeva overall. The pigmentation is great, so is the quality and everything else. And so today what we're going to be doing is taking a look at one of their bigger palettes. This is the Matte Spectrum palette, and the packaging is absolutely amazing. It's extremely soft and velvety. It has this holographic strip down the middle. Packaging is very fancy. The little box that it comes in is really fancy and velvety as well. And then you open it up and voila! Dun, 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 dun. It is absolutely amazing. It is just so great. I've been playing around with it for the past few days because I recently just got it in the mail, and the colors are just sensational. And this really reminded me of the Viseart palettes that Sephora sells for $80 per 12 shadows. And this one reminds me of the dark mattes, and I will pull up a picture right now for you guys to see a comparison between the actual colors. And so as you guys can see, the actual comparison is really close, really similar. The biggest difference is the price, because this palette retails for $40 and the Viseart one retails for $80. And I don't personally own that palette just because I refuse to pay $80 for an eyeshadow palette. But in comparison of the shadows and the colors and the actual, finish, they are almost identical. And so I will swatch this for you guys just so you guys can see like the exact, color payoff and pigmentation and whatnot. So we will get to that in just a second. But first, I did want to do like a slight comparison of the two palettes just because I feel like this is a perfect dupe for the Viseart palette. So first off, like I mentioned earlier, this palette is $40, the Viseart palette is $80, so it's half the price. So this one contains 15 matte shadows, and the Viseart palette, it contains 12. So there is less shadows and it's double the price. I did do a little bit of research comparing the two palettes, and I kid you not, the first three ingredients in both the palettes are identical. They both contain mineral talc, mica, and zinc stearate as the first three ingredients. They're not in the same order, so that means that the actual concentrations of the ingredients are different, but the first three ingredients are identical. This one is actually made in Italy, and it is also infused with vitamin A. It is paraben free. I feel like the pigmentation and the colors alone are so unique. I love palettes that are different, because I have a ton of palettes. I've rotated through a lot of eyeshadow palettes in the past, and now I'm at a point where like unless it like screams my name and actually like attracts me physically with its uniqueness, with its shadow placement, and just overall like the uniqueness and quality of it, I will usually pass on an eyeshadow palette. I just went on their website and this one just completely like caught my eye, spoke to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that looks just like the Viseart palette. And so I picked it up, and I could not be happier that I purchased this. I feel like this is one of those super unique but good quality palettes that almost everyone should own in their collection, regardless if you're into like crazier colors like this or not. But I just love the quality and the shadows in this. And so let's go ahead and get to swatching. I will go ahead and talk about every single one of these matte shades. They're just beautiful. Like every single shade in this palette I feel like has a purpose and is very unique and can definitely work with different shades. Because you have the neutral, transitional, lighter shades up top, you can mix and make almost any look with this palette. And as you guys seen, the the actual shades are so similar in actual, color, that I was just really pleased with this palette. And so this palette is definitely 2 thumbs up from me. I absolutely love it. I would recommend it to anyone, whether you're a makeup artist or not. I feel like it's just such a unique find and a really nice palette that, you can't really go wrong with it. And so let's get into the swatchings and hopefully you guys enjoy. Alright, my beauties, so this is what the packaging actually looks like. It's kind of more of like a black velvet packaging, and it has that hollow strip going down. As you guys can see, it reflects rainbow, and it just says Matte Spectrum and Zoeva right here on the bottom. And then you open it up, and dun 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 dun, this is what the actual palette looks like. It is just beautiful, super reflective. You have Zoeva right here, and then right here it just says Matte Spectrum Powder Shadow, and then you go and have all the beautiful shadows. So I'm gonna go one by one and we're gonna swatch them all on my arm, so let's get to it. Alright, and I don't have any primers or any concealer or anything on my arm. It's just a clean arm. So let's get started. These shadows actually don't have names, just numbers. So I'm just gonna go in. This is called MT010, and then MT020, MT030, and so on. So I'm just gonna name them like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, just so you guys can know the numbers. So this first one is 10, and this is more of like a really nice transition color that's more of like an ashy bone shade, and you guys can see how pigmented they just are. This next one is 20, and this is more of like a really similar shade, just a tad bit darker, more of like a skin color. That's a little bit more nude. This third one is like a really light coffee color that's also very nice and pigmented. As you guys can see, they do show up beautifully on the skin, even the lighter colors. And now I'm gonna go into the second row. This first one is 40, which is the lightest type of orange. Then we have 50, which is a tad bit darker of an orange, but still looks like a pastel. And then you have 60, which is an actual orange. Now, third row is more of like the warmer pinks and reds. So we're gonna go into this first one, which is 70. And it's just a really nice kind of peachy pink. Then you have 80, which is more of like an orangish red, rusty red almost. And they are just so pigmented and so easily blendable. I just absolutely love them. This next one is 90, which is more of like a berry. Then we're gonna go into the purple and the blues. So number 100 is this really nice lavender purple gray tone. Then we have 110, which is a very nice toned down blue, also gray toned. And then this last one is 120, which is a deeper blue. And these are all matte. This one does have a little bit of fallout, but it's still really creamy and pigmented. And then the last row are mainly greens. So you have this beautiful sea green, turquoise color. Then you have a really beautiful forest green. And then the last one is more of like an olive green shade, and they're all so buttery and so nice. And so here are the 15 shades, which are absolutely really pigmented, really creamy. There's a small amount of fallout, but overall this is an absolutely amazing palette. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the swatching of the Zoeva Matte Spectrum palette. Once again, it's just an absolutely phenomenal matte palette with such a great variety of color, great pigmentation, really good quality that I will definitely be using it a lot, even for like the warmer shades, or maybe you can even do like a more neutral look with it, or just pop a little bit of color on your lower lash line. I just feel like it's so versatile and such a great palette. You can't really go wrong with it. So if you guys did enjoy this video, do give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, SuperLady246. So thank you guys so much for hanging out and joining me today. I absolutely had to share this with you guys because I feel like it's a really unique and really awesome find. And like I said, I really do recommend it. It's one of my favorite palettes at the moment. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Lots of love from me to you. Stay positive and happy, and I will see you guys soon. Bye! Mwah.